It's really such a sight to be looking across this green at new colleagues, all of whom have distinguished themselves in their own right. Students who inspire me with their boundless imaginations and entrust us with nurturing their ideas and passions. Trustees who put their faith in me to lead this great institution. Alumni who are undying in their devotion to their alma mater and to each other. Academic leaders who have traveled far and wide from their respective institutions to join us for celebration deep in these North Woods. Governor Sununu and distinguished elected officials who serve and represent the great state of New Hampshire, the United States, and the town of Hanover. Presidents Emeriti Kim and Hanlon, whose shoulders I stand on in this moment as the 19th president and proudly the first woman in the distinguished line known as the Beilock succession. And the friends and family members and mentors who've so profoundly influenced my career, this is a moment I really do want to last forever. So please indulge me. I'm going to take a 0.5. I got a good one. Honestly, I think the only thing that could possibly make this moment any sweeter is if the podium were the storied tree stump. But alas, I'm told that's reserved exclusively for commencement. Something to look forward to. It's difficult to be standing here overlooking the Connecticut River between the White and Green Mountains and just feet away from the Appalachian Trail without appreciating the perspective of what I've come to learn is such a special place. Indeed, so many different perspectives have shaped my introduction to Dartmouth. Perspectives of the Dartmouth community, yes, but also perspectives informed by a society in a very unique moment, and a very unique moment for higher education. For centuries, higher education has been the epicenter of knowledge creation, in large part because of the unparalleled freedom we have to pursue new ideas. Unlike industry, often constrained by constant pressures associated with profits, or government, where partisanship once in a while can sometimes impede progress, institutions of higher education are unique in their ability to break new ground across the full spectrum of disciplines. This is our calling. It is a responsibility we feel deeply because the betterment of society depends on it. We don't have to look far or even beyond the Hanover plain to find examples of academic discoveries that have really improved the human condition. It was right here at Geisel's School of Medicine, where structural biologist Jason McClellan conducted the research on the spike protein that sparked the successful development of the COVID-19 vaccines, right here at Dartmouth, that have saved more than 3 million lives. Even still, we find the public questioning our value and the foundational premise of the academy as a place of innovation and knowledge creation. A recent Gallup survey found that Americans' confidence in higher education is an all-time low of 36%. Even Dartmouth isn't immune. Although President Dickey and others who came before him focused outward in so many ways, we're still often accused of being an ivory, or ivy tower in this case, with which we have a perceived elitism that we only look inward. Even those within our community haven't always felt welcome. It's no secret that Dartmouth has an imperfect past when it comes to including people of different races, faiths, and as I'm acutely aware of, women. But our histories fuel us to do better, and do better we will. The complex problems facing the world today demand urgent, sophisticated solutions, making our push for discovery and breakthrough ever more vital. These problems also need leaders who have an understanding of the human condition, of history, and the value of interpersonal relationships. Leaders who know how to work effectively with each other, with government and business to encode innovations into our society and into our planet. Discovery and leadership are timeless in Dartmouth's mission, that is true. But today at Dartmouth, we commit to that dual mission in new ways that will drive impact faster and farther than ever before. My proposal is that we approach this work systematically through 5 key areas of focus. 2 of these areas are aimed at cultivating a campus full of healthy minds and brave souls, eager to reap the benefit of the full diversity of our community. This is imperative. The first is wellness. We know that anxiety, stress, and depression, particularly among young people, are at an all-time high, having been exacerbated by the global pandemic. Fortunately, understanding how stress and anxiety play out in the brain and body is what I've done in my research for 20 years. What I've learned is that there are discrete steps we can take to care for ourselves and care for others, and that well-being is directly linked to academic achievement. So the single greatest service we can do for our students, our faculty, and our staff is to support them on their wellness journey. In the next 2 weeks, we're rolling out a comprehensive plan to center mental health and well-being across the university. The plan is aimed at strengthening wellness among all of our students, from our first years to graduate and professional schools, enhancing their capacity for learning and putting them on a path to realizing their full potential. Just last week, we announced important changes to our policies around when students take time away to care for themselves. These changes are meant to help them stay connected to campus. And we are also significantly expanding our mental health training for faculty and staff to enable them to better support our students. But this is just the beginning. We're also actively working to alleviate one of the biggest sources of stress in our community: housing scarcity. Today, I am pleased to announce the single largest investment in Dartmouth's residential learning experience in more than a generation. You haven't heard what I'm going to say yet. Through it, we commit to adding 1,000 new beds for undergraduate, graduates, faculty, and staff within the next decade, and to breaking ground on each of these within the next 24 months, with undergraduate dorms being situated closest to campus. Of course, the housing crisis we face isn't limited to our campus. It pervades our entire Upper Valley community. So we're doubling our investment today in the Upper Valley Loan Fund. It's an effort to create more affordable workforce housing. Dartmouth is deeply committed to working with the town of Hanover and our Upper Valley community partners as we undertake this important work. I also understand very personally that along with housing comes access to quality childcare to allow our faculty and staff and students to do their work. Earlier this week, we announced the first ever program for all benefits eligible Dartmouth employees to have childcare subsidies. And we won't stop there. Over the coming year, we'll be partnering with Dartmouth Health and organizations across the Upper Valley to expand childcare options. This is our duty. Our holistic approach to wellness includes even more. It includes a renewed commitment on athletic excellence as well. "80% of our undergraduates participate in varsity and club sports. That's a great thing because in addition to promoting a healthy lifestyle, sports imbues in us a healthy, competitive spirit. Anyone who knows me knows I'm pretty competitive, and that competitiveness was born in large part from my participation in sports. And sadly, even though my high-level athletic days are over, my drive to continue to do and be the best remains. But perhaps the greatest lesson that sports teaches, which applies to everyone in life, is that winning requires more than great talent. No one knew this better than Buddy Tevens, whose loss we feel so deeply today. A team can have the best players in the world, but if those players are unwilling or unable to work together effectively, winning will be out of our reach. At Dartmouth, we're already making such great strides in bringing the best and brightest to campus through historic investments in financial aid and recruitment of the best faculty. Yet it's how we all work together and how we freely express and capitalize on our differences that unlocks our potential. For this reason, I am making brave spaces a hallmark of our campus in my second area of focus. I want our campus to be a place where every member of our community not only feels comfortable expressing unpopular views, but in questioning others who hold views they disagree with. The best solutions are developed when a diversity of perspectives are brought to the table. So we must commit to centering viewpoints and voices that aren't always heard, and to brave spaces that let diversity of thought and lived experiences shine through. In a recent survey of college students, a majority thought that free speech and diversity and inclusion were at odds with one another. But that could not be farther from the truth. You cannot have the former without the latter. We must also commit to evidence-driven discussion. The principle of freedom of expression isn't about saying whatever you want whenever you wish. It's about individual members of our community holding their own opinion, doing their homework about an issue, and actively debating it with others. We can't squash an idea simply because there's a certain faction of our community that doesn't like it, or stifle dialogue on a controversial topic because it makes people uncomfortable. To the contrary, we must foster an environment where ideas of integrity are responsibly aired and debated. This is difficult and sometimes unpopular work. But Dartmouth is the perfect place to do it because research shows that when a community trusts each other, has bonds, feels that they are connected, they are more able to productively push at each other. Dartmouth is the most tight-knit community I know, and we can lead the country and the nation in this area. Having spent 12 years at the University of Chicago as a faculty member and then as an administrator, I often hear the Chicago principles cited as the de facto standard for the free and open exchange of ideas on campus. I believe it is essential as an institution that we live by the spirit of these priorities and these principles, but I also believe that they do not go far enough. At Dartmouth, we will move beyond simply safeguarding freedom of expression to facilitate, practice, and teach dialogue against difference. We will teach it. Next month, Dean of the Faculty of Arts and Sciences, Elizabeth Smith, will launch a new signature program known as the Dartmouth Dialogue Project. This project will intentionally teach the skills of open, honest, and respectful communication, both in and out of the classroom. One of our initiatives this year is to support faculty in teaching controversial topics in their courses and to develop a co-curricular transcript where undergraduates will be able to document their achievement in developing dialogue skills. These are skills we have to learn and teach, and Dartmouth is the place to do it. To supplement this work, I've joined the College Presidents for Civic Preparedness. It's a group committed to ensuring today's young people are well-informed, productively engaged citizens, and to measuring discourse on campus. Finally, I am thrilled to announce today that Dartmouth is forming the first ever university-wide partnership with StoryCorps. We'll be bringing the One Small Step initiative to campus, which, as you may know, is a time-tested methodology whereby strangers with vastly opposing views come together to engage in respectful conversation, even in the presence of strong political disagreement. If we can strengthen dialogue on our campus, we will ultimately strengthen these skills in society because Dartmouth operates as a base camp to the world. And our alums are leading in virtually every sector, in every industry, in every country, every day. While other universities may be limited to a 4-year experience, Dartmouth is for life. That's very true. This is precisely why a third imperative, along with centering wellness and creating brave spaces at Dartmouth, is to double down on the lifelong bonds that are the hallmark of our Dartmouth community. Already, our recent transformation of the west end of campus and our equally dynamic transformation of the Arts District have created new hubs of innovation that celebrate broader ranges of career paths. But we know we can do more. Imagine a day when a student arrives at Dartmouth and right from the start, we instill in them a confidence and curiosity about their post-Dartmouth future. Imagine if internships were centralized and easy to find for all. Imagine if there were twice as many career counselors and an army of alumni volunteers from college grads to Tuck, to Thayer, to Geisel, to Guarini, to advise in different fields. Yes, of course, in finance and consulting, but also in the arts and public service. And what if we were to reorient advising to serve alumni throughout their careers, helping them successfully transition to new roles under the mentorship of fellow alum, to serve alumni for life? This is the lifelong support we aim to build, and beginning with an early commitment to do this, we're planning to move career advising back to the heart of campus. We can and will do more in this area. Of course, none of what I talked about matters without a healthy planet. Earlier this year, the UN concluded that human activity has unequivocally caused warming of our planet, and that to avoid more catastrophic outcomes, we must cut global carbon emissions by 50% by 2030 and 100% by 2050, a path the global community is not currently on. If we are to live up to our title of Big Green, we have to do more and hasten our pace, and we will. A fourth imperative of mine, action on climate, includes an aggressive push to achieve real carbon zero on our campus. That means we won't buy offsets that come from halfway across the country or halfway across the globe to decarbonize our campus. We will invest in solutions right here in Hanover and within our New England electrical grid. Later this year, we're going to roll out specific and aggressive targets for 2030 and 2050. And over the next 3 years, we will invest over $250 million into our campus decarbonization efforts to improve the efficiency of our buildings and to install non-combustion technologies like heat pumps, geothermal, and solar across campus. But that's not all. Our focus on sustainability is going to extend beyond our campus to the community and to the world as we apply our unique understanding and our sense of place, especially around cold weather climate solutions. Dartmouth is already a home to leaders in this space. For example, Thayer engineering professor Mary Albert and her incredible team developed a model for Arctic energy transitions that was recently shortlisted for the most prestigious international award for climate adaptation in the Arctic. And back here at home, Earth Sciences professor Eric Osterberg co-founded and leads the Upper Valley Adaptation Working Group, dedicated to engaging our local cold weather New England community in informed, resilient climate solutions. What's more, students across the country are choosing to come to Dartmouth because of the Arthur L. Irving Institute for Energy and Society and its physical proximity between our engineering and business schools. Concerned alumni are applying their talents too. If we galvanize our community successfully, we can move the sustainability needle in a hugely significant way. Mental health and wellness, brave spaces, Dartmouth for life, action on climate, these are the ground conditions that will propel us to our fifth area of focus, innovation and impact. Dartmouth can and will become a place of rapid, boundless beginnings, where students and faculty alike come to Dartmouth because our undergraduate education is significantly enhanced by our graduate and professional schools, and vice versa. And because it's the best place to unleash their ideas and tap into the power of our community to help bring them into being. Already, our entrepreneurial ecosystem is impressive. Dartmouth ranks 4th out of all US universities in the number of alumni entrepreneurs based on size, and 5th in female founders. Nearly 50% of our engineering faculty have started venture-backed companies themselves, and Tuck is becoming one of the greatest global thought leaders on innovation. Just look on the stage next to me at VG, who literally wrote the book on future-forward innovation. And our teacher-scholar model is innovative above all else. It affords students unparalleled opportunities to work alongside faculty at the leading edge of discovery. Indeed, our approach of a full education across the arts and sciences, complemented by our emphasis on students and faculty working and learning together, differentiates us from others. It is because of our size and scale we have the ability to spur innovation at the intersections of disciplines and amplify this combination in service to society. It is the space between where there is ample ground for new approaches. This is the Dartmouth way. We know the biggest issues facing our society, from healthcare to climate to growing economic inequality to peace and security, will not be solved within a single discipline. They may not be solved within even a single institution. So once we have this combustion of possibility firing across campus, we will focus on impact. We're going to begin by investing our historic royalties generated from the COVID vaccine research into our core facilities and research enterprise to bring the best ideas to scale and ultimately to market. I want to facilitate more projects like Assistant Professor Cesar Alvarez's experimental new musical Noise, which challenges traditional notions of what constitutes a theatrical experience, or the incredible app-based platform developed by Geisel professor Karen Fortuna and student Julia Hill, which has the potential to identify Alzheimer's disease and related dementias up to 10 to 15 years before symptoms arrive. Don't get me wrong, discovery is so important for its own sake, and our commitment to exploration across the arts and sciences will not waver. But we must strengthen our ability to translate our creations and discoveries into impact. To do this, we will mobilize our unsurpassed network of alumni to mentor, advise, invest in, and champion our ideas to the world. And in a departure from historical norms, Dartmouth will accelerate and amplify our impact through strategic partnerships. I cannot underscore this enough. It is a brave new frontier. Choosing a path of partnership will enable us to verify, amplify, and apply the sparks of new knowledge that come from our innovation. And already these efforts are bearing early fruits. Next week, Dartmouth is convening for only the second time in history all living US Surgeons General to discuss solutions for the crisis to mental health experienced by young people. In partnership with Dartmouth Health, our neighbor and the most important medical center in northern New England, we are making strides in digital mental health therapies that target the rural poor. The work of Geisel professor Lisa Marsh and her team are one example. They've led the first FDA-cleared prescription digital therapeutic for the treatment of opioid addiction, which has nearly doubled rates of abstinence among people with opioid use disorder. As a second partnership, you heard that to promote STEM diversity, I've partnered with Brown University President Chris Paxson to bring together the only 6 U.S. research universities with women presidents and deans of engineering to leverage the once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, the CHIPS Act, to bring more women into the engineering and technology workforce. Women make up only 15% of the semiconductor workforce, and as the home of the first engineering school in the country to have gender parity at the undergraduate level, we know how to expand the talent pipeline. We're formally launching our consortium known as the EDGE Consortium next month in DC with government, private sector, and higher education leaders. Very excited about this. And because our unique history of Native American education is at the heart of our institutional charter, we will build on this commitment in a new spirit of partnership next year with the launch of a Tribal Leadership Academy. This academy will provide a place for experienced and newly elected tribal leaders to convene with one another, to share best practices, discuss opportunities and challenges facing sovereign tribal nations, and engage the expertise of fellow participants, Native alumni, and Dartmouth faculty across campus. Mental health, brave spaces, Dartmouth for life, action on climate, breakthrough innovation. This is my vision. These are our aspirations, and this is my call to action for you. Higher ed is often a place of singular exceptionalism. Too many times in the past, our institutions have failed to look for partners within our own community and among our peers. But the best and fastest way to create new knowledge and translate it into impact is by working together, learning together, solving problems together. So as I accept the honor and responsibility that comes with being inaugurated as Dartmouth's 19th president, I invite you to be my partners, to be Dartmouth's partners as we undertake that work. Solutions to make the world a better place are out there. We just need to accelerate their development and apply them more broadly, and I have every confidence that we can. Today, I have the honor of wearing the Flood Medal. It was a gift from John Flood of London to John Wheelock, then president of Dartmouth, in 1786, as an important part of Dartmouth history. On it is the depiction of Aesop's fable, The Old Man and His Sons. It's a story of a father who, in an effort to reconcile his quarrelsome sons, shows them how sticks that are easily broken individually cannot be broken when bound together. The lesson, of course, is clear. In unity, there is strength. Thank you to all of you at Dartmouth for joining me on this journey and for making our bonds to each other, this institution, and our mission unbreakable.